All right, let's dive into one of the most intense, mysterious, and just life-changing nights in the entire Bible. We're talking about the story of Jacob, a man who is literally forced to wrestle with his past, his future, and with God himself in a way that doesn't just change him, it completely redefines who he is.
And that really gets to the heart of this entire chapter, doesn't it? I mean, what do you do when the mistakes you made 20 years ago are suddenly walking right towards you? Jacob's story, it's not just some ancient tale. It's such a powerful picture of our own struggles with regret and fear.
So let's set the scene. Jacob is finally on his way home. After 2 long decades away, he's heading back to the land promised to his family. But this is not the happy, joyful homecoming you might imagine. No, it's completely overshadowed by this deep, terrifying fear of meeting the one person he should be excited to see, his twin brother, Esau. I mean, think about it. 20 years have passed. 20 years ago, Jacob, whose name literally means supplanter or heel grabber, totally lived up to that name. He tricked his own father and stole his brother's blessing, then had to flee for his life. Now, in those 2 decades, God has blessed him like crazy. Wives, children, enormous wealth. But now the road home leads him right back into Esau's territory. The past has finally caught up. Can you just imagine the sheer terror that shoots through Jacob when he hears this? He sends messengers ahead to try and, smooth things over, and this is the report they bring back. 400 men. You don't bring 400 men to a family reunion. You bring 400 men to a war. In that one moment, all of Jacob's worst fears are coming true. So what does he do? Well, in this moment of crisis, we see the two sides of Jacob's personality on full display. He's still Jacob the strategist, the schemer, but he's also a man who knows, deep in his bones, that none of his plans are going to be enough. He is completely, utterly dependent on God. And you can see his mind working. On one hand, he's the tactician. He splits his whole camp into 2 groups, thinking, hey, if Esau attacks one, maybe the other can get away. He puts together this unbelievably huge gift to send ahead. But on the other hand, he just completely humbles himself before God. His prayer isn't demanding, it's desperate. He reminds God of his promises, admits he's totally unworthy, and just begs to be delivered. He's doing everything humanly possible, while praying for God to do what he knows is impossible on his own. And just look at the size of this gift. This is an absolute fortune in livestock. And he's clever about it. He doesn't send it all at once. No, he sends it in waves, telling each servant, when Esau meets you, tell him this is a present from your servant Jacob. He's trying to soften his brother's heart to overwhelm him with generosity before they ever see each other. This is pure desperation. So this all builds up to the climax of the story. After he sends his family and everything he owns across the Jabbok brook, Jacob stays behind. He is completely alone in the pitch black of night. He's done everything he can do. He's just waiting. And it's right here in this moment of total isolation and vulnerability that the unthinkable happens. All of a sudden, out of the darkness, a man appears and a fight begins. And we're not talking about an argument. We're talking about a physical wrestling match. The Bible says it went on all night long until the first hint of dawn. The intensity, the sheer endurance of this, it's just staggering to think about. And then there's this incredible shift. The mysterious man, seeing that he can't seem to beat Jacob's raw persistence, just touches his hip and instantly dislocates it. Right there, it becomes crystal clear this is no ordinary man. But even in crippling pain, Jacob refuses to let go. His physical strength is gone, but his willpower, it just gets stronger. And this is the turning point. This cry from Jacob changes everything. He realizes who he's wrestling. He's not fighting for his life anymore, he's fighting for a blessing. The guy who spent his whole life scheming to get blessings is now hanging on for dear life, refusing to release God himself until he gets one straight from the source. So the struggle ends here, but Jacob doesn't win. Not in the way we think of winning. I mean, you don't beat God, but he endures, he holds on, and the result isn't a victory trophy. It's a complete transformation. He gets a new name, and in that culture, a new name means a new character, a whole new identity. Just think about how powerful these words are. Your name will no longer be Jacob, no longer the supplanter, the deceiver. That part of his identity, the very thing that got him into all this trouble, is being stripped away. He's being made new. And his new name? Israel. The Bible tells us exactly what it means. He has struggled with God and with men, and has prevailed. See, his victory wasn't about overpowering God. It was in his relentless faith. He just held on through the pain, through the darkness, until he got the blessing. That's what it means to prevail. So as the sun finally rises, it's a new day in every sense of the word. Jacob, who is now Israel, is a new man. He has faced God, and now he's about to face his brother. But he's doing it as someone who has been fundamentally changed forever. And to remember this unbelievable event, Jacob names the place. This was something they did all the time in the Old Testament. You build an altar, you name a place, you create a permanent memorial of when God showed up. He calls it Peniel, and the meaning is so simple, but it's breathtaking. The face of God. He's not confused about what just happened. He knows exactly who he was grappling with all night long. And his own words just capture the awe of the moment. See, in his worldview, nobody could see the face of God and live. But here he is. He hasn't just seen God, he's physically struggled with him, and he was spared. Suddenly, his fear of Esau seems pretty small compared to the awesome reality of having met God and survived. This final image is just so powerful. As Israel walks into the sunrise to finally meet his brother, he's limping. He got his blessing, but he also walked away with a permanent physical reminder of that struggle. That limp is a sign of his weakness, a mark of humility that will make sure he never, ever forgets that his strength doesn't come from his own cleverness, but from clinging to God. And that just leaves us with this final thought. Jacob walked away from his darkest night with a limp and a new name. He was broken physically, but he was blessed spiritually. And it makes you wonder, right? What are the wrestling matches in our own lives, those painful all-night struggles that God uses to break our own self-reliance and give us a new, better identity in him?